Hello and welcome everyone. So in our previous video, we saw how to connect to the MongoDB database using Mongoose. In today's video, using Mongoose, we will see how to create schemas and models. Okay. So first of all, I will go in my SRC folder and I will create one more folder called as schema. Schema folder, all the schemas related to our project will go like user schema means not in a project, but there are schemas like user schema, message schema, channel schemas and all. So in our video we will create our first user schema. So inside the schema I will create user schema dot js. Okay, so first of all I will import mongoose from mongoose, and I will create our first user schema. So I will say const and user schema is equal to new mongoose dot schema. This is the way in which we create schema. Mongoose provides us a method called dot schema, which will help us to create a new schema. Okay, so let us see what is a schema. A schema is a blueprint or a structure that defines the shape of our documents with MongoDB collection. Okay, in MongoDB we don't have tables, but it is stored in the form of collections and documents, right? So in SQL type there is like tables, right? User will have a table. In that we will have rows and columns. So then there will be, suppose there is a user will have name, password, age, email and a username, right? So in our schema we will say, and it will specify like the fields, their type, default values, validation rules and other option. Name, what will be the type of the name that we have to specify over here in our MongoDB. Each row is like a document, right? And this whole table is like a whole table is a collection, right? And wait a minute. See, here we can see that each row is like our document, like it has a name, age, email, registration, and the combination of the document is called as a collection. Here you can see this is a one document, this is one document, and then this is another document. So combination will create a collection in our MongoDB database. So in our schema we just specify like what will be the type. The name will have type, right? It will be a string and this will be a required property. The user should exist, right? Then the age will be definitely a number. Type of the age will be a number. Email will be type of string, and this will be a unique property, right? So we can give validation over here. We can give their types and the default values if we want to provide that we can give. Okay. So we have already created a schema. Now we will write their types. Okay. So first of all, the user will have username. So I will create username and I will say type will be string, and this will be required property, so I will say it is required. So required will be true. If not given, I can also throw error saying that username is required. Username is required, and the username should have been like unique, right? There will be thousands of users with the same username that I don't want, so I will give a unique property. So I will say unique is true, and if it is not unique I can throw error saying this user already exists. So this is our basic username. Then it will be having password. Password will be of type string. So we'll say type string. So required is true. If not provided, I will say password is required. And then the user will also have email, so I will say email. And the type will be definitely a string, so I will say type is equal to string. Required is true. I will throw errors saying email is required. So I can also give match. I can give regex to match if the if user has to provide a certain in a certain way. Email has to be in a certain way. I can provide our regex. Okay, so I will say match, and uh, I will copy one basic regex from Google. Okay, and I can throw error saying provide valid email. Okay, so this is our basic schema, and also I can here provide the timestamp is equal to true. So this will tell us like when the user is created in our database. So I will say timestamp is equal to true. Okay, this is how we have created our simple user schema. So now we have to create a model. So we'll see what is model. Okay. So a model is a wrapper for a schema and provides an interface to interact with our database collection. There will be collection, right? What is the use of the database if we cannot interact with that? So model help us to interact with it and perform some CRUD operation. And what are these CRUD operations? Basically, creating. If I want to create a user, then I have to update a user, and sometimes I also want to delete the user, right? So updating, deleting, reading, or creating these operations, you are interacting with the database. These operations are called the CRUD operations. Okay, so this is the basic syntax in which we create our model. So we have to create a model and store it, right? We are storing here in user. So Mongoose provide mongoose.model method, in which our first parameter is the name of the model which we want to give, and the second parameter is a schema, okay, which we have already created schema. So now let us create our model. So I will say const user. I will write first letter as a capital. Okay, so I will say mongoose dot model, and first parameter is the name of the model, and the second parameter is our name of the schema. So I will copy this and I will paste it over here. So we have already we now created our model successfully. Now we have to export it, right? So I will say export default user. Okay, so this is how we created our schema and the user. This was the basic thing. Okay, so let us just revise what we did in our video. So first of all, the schema is a blueprint or a structure. It tells us like how our document in a MongoDB collection will look like. Okay, so MongoDB is a non-relation. In MongoDB there is no tables, so the user has to be stored in the form of documents. So this is our documents look like in a MongoDB, and the combination of this document is called as a collection, which somewhat look like. Okay, so it specifies the field. The schema specifies the field, that types, the default value, and the validation rule. And our model is a wrapper for a schema that provides an interface like to interact with the database. We will interact with the database using model, and this is the basic model that we have created and we have seen today. So this was all for today, guys. So I hope this was helpful, and stay motivated and keep coding. Thanks for watching, guys.